Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to What If Wednesday. And today is all about the power of what if. So, this is really a back to basics kind of day. If you want to create something amazing in your year, or maybe you're just coming in to to the new year feeling like there's sort of a lack of enthusiasm based on some of the challenges we've had over the past few years, and you're looking for, how do I get that energy back? How do I get that enthusiasm back? How do I get my mojo back? What I'm going to share with you today is really the power of what if and how you can use this simple tool to create the kinds of changes that you want, to create the realities that you want in your life. I am Mindy Audlin. I'm the founder of an organization, a nonprofit organization called the What If Up Club, where we come together as a collaborative community to co-create positive changes, to spread hope, to build connection, and to create positive change in our lives, and letting that ripple out into our communities and ultimately out into the world. So thank you for joining. It's great to see you here. I love to hear from you. So whether you're watching live with me, hello, I see you. Would love to see who's here. What's your vision for 2023? What are you creating? What are you excited about? And if you're watching in the archives, would love to hear from you as well. You can post your comments below. And we are building our community. We have our Facebook community, and we also have our YouTube community. And love hearing from you and connecting with you. So I don't know. People say, sometimes people come to me and they say, Mindy, you seem so optimistic. How can you be so optimistic? And I have to fully disclose, I have been raised a worrier, and I have that part of me that I look at the things that are happening in the world. I see what's happening in the news. I see what's happening in climate and in our social systems, and I see all these things. And there is a part of me that is really, really worried. That is, I have that pessimistic voice in my head. I have that worrying mind. My maternal mind goes crazy with worry sometimes. And so through the years, I've found this one particular tool, this one strategy that helps me in the midst of being worried and being stressed and being anxious about the things that I see. It helps me to be in that reality and not go into a place of overwhelm most of the time, disempowerment. I have a tool that can take me out of those places and let me look at what's happening in my life and in the world, and look at it from a place that is empowering and that is hopeful. So this is not about painting, a rosy picture of something that is the way I wish it was. This is about being in this world as it is and being an intentional creator of the reality that we want. And the key to that is these two little words. And so I'm sharing you with this. One of the things that we're doing this year is launching this new weekly program. Obviously, we have What If Wednesday every week here with you live. Now we're going to be bringing in guests. We're going to bring different ideas in, different spotlights to really highlight the power of what if at work through our What If Up community. So today is really an introduction to the power of what if, to the power that we have to use these two little words to create positive changes, no matter what is going on around us. So I'm going to share with you 3 things that I think are at the core of why this process is so powerful and how you can use it as you're creating the things that you want to see in your life and in the world. All right. So what is the power of what if? What if those 2 little words are incredibly powerful? Because reason number 1, you ready? A little drum roll. Reason number 1 is, what if is a portal to possibility. It is a portal to possibility. And what I mean by that is, when you state something, I like to think of it like periods equals polarity. When you have a period at the end of the sentence, when you say, this is, what can happen sometimes is it brings up all of the ideas of what's the exception to that, right? If you say this is always true, someone's going to say, well, what about this? And what about that? And there's all kinds of paradox when we look at spiritual truths. We can say it's all good. And then we can also say, well, I want to change that to create good. So a period is when you put a period at the end of a sentence. This is, for me, the biggest challenge with affirmations. Affirmations can be really great if we can say something and fully 100% believe it. If we're affirming something so much, so frequently, so vehemently, so passionately that it begins to feel like it's 100% our truth, then an affirmation can be really powerful. But what I find sometimes is we use affirmations. We say things like, I am prosperous. And we say it, but there's a part of us that says, well, my bank account might not agree, or I don't know if I'm that yet. And so we're affirming these things that we want to be as if they are true, putting a period at the end. And what it does is it creates some mental friction. It creates some resistance because there's a part of us that says, well, yes, I know I'm saying that. I know I'm affirming that. I know I'm wanting that, but I'm claiming it as if it's true. And there's a part of me that isn't fully congruent with it yet. What if? Part of the power of what if is that it bypasses that. It bypasses that period and puts a question mark at the end. It creates it as a possibility. So what if I were to fully experience and know what it feels like to be prosperous? So I'm not affirming it. There's no resistance in it. It's just a possibility. It's just an idea. And it's open. It's open to all the ways that, in this case, prosperity could show up. It's not a period at the end. I am prosperous. This is what prosperity is. It's what if I could experience it at greater levels? What if I know that I'm at a certain level now and it continues to expand and radiate beyond me? What if I can imagine what it feels like to be twice as prosperous, 10 times as prosperous? So when you put a question mark at the end, and particularly when that question mark is inspired by the question, what if, it leads us into this portal of possibility. And I brought one of my favorite quotes from Einstein, who says, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is the period at the end of the sentence. This is what I know to be true, period. Imagination, he says, is more important than knowledge because he says knowledge is limited to all that we know. It's limited to all that we understand. So knowledge has a limitation, while imagination embraces the entire world and all that will ever be known and all that we will ever understand. Imagination is bigger. And so if what we do in our system is we reward the knowledge, right? Have the right answer, kids. We reward the knowledge. And sometimes when it comes to imagination, we're like, can you pipe that down a little bit? That's a pipe dream. Can you just be realistic? And sometimes we stifle the imagination when really it is the imagination that is the portal. It is the portal to all possibilities. That's the power of the what if. All right. So the second little key here, the second reason why this little question, this little phrase is so important is that what if is you ready? It is a catalyst for change. Nothing changes unless we can go into this portal of possibility. So it is a catalyst for change in that if we do not allow our imagination to take us down those what if tunnels, what happens, what's left is we have our observations, the things that we see happening around us, and we have our judgments about those things, whether they're good or bad, or whether we want more of them or less of them. But if we don't go down that tunnel of possibility, we never have the opportunity to change what we see. And so what happens is we end up stuck in this cycle of observation and judgment. I see this and I'm judging it, and maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but there's nothing that expands it. And when you're stuck in that cycle of observation and judgment, it can feel hopeless. It can feel disempowering because there's no place to bust outside of that cycle. What if is a catalyst for change. It takes us into new possibilities for how we might be able to break out of those things that we see that we don't like. How do we break out of that cycle to create something new? And those things that we see that we do like, how do we create more of that in the world? What if takes us there? It's the portal that takes us there. The third reason this little question, what if, is so powerful is because what if is actually an incubator for ideas. Our imagination gives us the ability to play with an idea, to play with a possibility, to see it play out in our mind's eye without having to invest any money, without having to invest any significant resources other than our time and our creative energy, what if becomes an incubator for ideas. So if I have my goals for 2023 and I have these things I want to create, I can say, well, what if I try this approach? What if I try that approach? And I can literally play it through in my mind. I looked up because I'm like, is incubator the right word? I looked up the word incubator today to just kind of see, like, what is, when we talk about an incubator, what are we talking about? And this is the definition that I found that's really interesting. So think about this in the context of ideas. So an incubator, by definition, is an enclosed apparatus providing a controlled environment. So think of your mind as an apparatus providing a controlled environment for the care and protection of premature or unusually small babies. That's what an incubator definition is. So if I think of this as my imagination, my mind is an enclosed apparatus that provides this controlled environment where I can care for and protect these seeds of possibility. So when I have an idea or a hope or a dream, it usually starts as a small seed of an idea, a small desire. And through our imagination, through the power of what if, we can work with that idea. There was another definition that says, it actually described an incubator. An incubator is designed to provide a safe, controlled space for infants to live while their vital organs develop. So think of this in terms of your ideas, the things you want to create as a business or things you want to create as a lifestyle. You have the seed of an idea, but it continues to grow until it can live on its own, right? So we're developing the vital organs of our ideas in our minds using the power of what if. So this is where you can use what if for problem solving. So if you're starting to worry about something, well, what if I could see this in a different way? What if I shift my perspective? What if I can pivot? What if I can be flexible? What if gives us the how to get there. Now, I share all three of these. What if as a portal to possibility, what if as a catalyst for change, and what if as an incubator for ideas. All of these things can be really wonderful when our imagination is lined up in the consciousness of abundance and love and joy. And, we call this, when you use your what if to what if up, instead of using the what if to what if down. What if downing is when we use that what if to go into fear, to go into overwhelm, to go into anxiety. It's the what if it all goes wrong. It's the worst case scenario. That all of these, what if downing is also a portal to possibilities. It's just those possibilities are pretty bleak. And it's not hard to go online and find a portal to a possibility that is terrifying, and of course we're going to feel anxious. Of course we're going to feel overwhelm and hopelessness when we allow those fears to take us into that portal of a downward spiral. That also can become a catalyst for change, in that if we are using those what if down ideas to react to the things that we're afraid of, a lot of times what if downing leads us to take decisions or sometimes to make inaction, taking decisions that are reactive, that are knee-jerk reactions that sometimes don't serve our highest good. Or sometimes that what if down thinking can be so overwhelming that we just end up frozen. And then we end up stuck in that spiral again of observation and judgment, frozen because we don't feel the inspiration to do something. It feels too overwhelming. An incubator for ideas. We can incubate ideas that are not for our highest good. We see it all the time. Why is it happening? Is because people are what if downing. What if I don't have enough? What if I don't have my share? What if I can't? All those what if down ideas lead us to react in ways that often create more of the problem. It exacerbates the problem. So when you what if up instead of what if downing, when you what if up, we're using the power of what if in a way that takes us down a different portal. It takes us into a new vision. It takes us into a new possibility for what we can create. And from that vision of our best case scenario, our BCS, our best case scenario, from that vision, now we're going to get different ideas, different ideas for things we can do, for things we're inspired to do, for things that we want to do. And that becomes the catalyst for positive change. From that, we can then use the what if up process to continue whenever there's a roadblock. Inevitably, it's an incubator, right? The vital organs aren't all ready to go yet. We're still cooking that idea. And when we find problems and when we find challenges and when we find obstacles, that we can use that what if process to navigate around them. It can incubate the idea so that, the things that when you start an idea, how you start and maybe you don't have the full picture in front of you, but here's my next step. If here's your next step, and then you have a different perspective. And now we can take the next inspired action and the next action and the next action. And sometimes the idea is like, okay, I had it in my head this way, and what actually showed up is something different. And so now I'm back in my incubator saying, okay, well, what if I can stay true to my vision and just approach it in a different way, take a different route there. So the what if up process, when we are what if upping instead of what if downing, it leads us to create things that without it, we don't take those actions. Without it, we stay stuck in the same reality at best. And worst case scenario, we don't go there. That's what if downing. But we see that a lot. So that is why it is so important, why my passion is really bringing people together to practice the power of what if, to practice it in an intentional way, to practice it in a positive way, to practice it with others so that we can build momentum from other people's ideas and other people's imaginations that we can co-create together. That is what the What If Up Club is all about. So I invite you, you've got something you want to create. You've got a dream, you've got a vision, you've got a hope for humanity, a hope for the world, a hope for a different way of living sustainably on the planet. What if we have the capacity through our imagination to solve every problem that exists on the planet today? Can you breathe into that? What if we have the capacity within our imagination to solve the problems in our homes, in our offices, in our corporations, on our planet? What if we have the capacity through our imagination and the inspired actions that we take to solve these problems? The key is we have to practice it. It's not something that comes from reading a book. That's a great place to start. It can inspire the ideas, but then from those ideas, how do we encourage ourselves to take action? How do we provide the accountability, the structure? Just like when you join a gym, you join a gym. Joining the gym doesn't make you fit, but going to the gym consistently, using good form when you're at the gym, doing those exercises over time, that can create some lasting change. So that is what we are looking for with our mindset, with our mental health. How do we, on a consistent basis, give ourselves a mental workout that is leading us to a place that is hopeful, a place that is empowered, a place that is proactive and innovative and resilient? And what if is the tool. There is, without the imagination, there is no other way to grow and expand. The only way there is the imagination, and the best way to unlock your imagination, to unlock the portal to your imagination, is with those two little words, what if. So that is what we're doing here in this community. That is what we're doing every Wednesday right here. I invite you to join us as I bring together projects and people and ideas and strategies for keeping this mindset top of mind, for practicing the process of what if upping. And if you choose to, join us at whatifup.org, join our community, and feel the momentum that happens when you're not out there doing it just in your own mind, but you're actually coming together with a community to what if up together. There is an incredible momentum we can build together. So invite you into that. I have seen people do extraordinary things with this process. Just this morning, I got an email from one of our what if uppers saying that she's using some of the tools and some of the strategies, and she's been doing it every day since the beginning of the year. And she's already starting to see, she says, starting to see the breadcrumbs of how what I put into motion when I use this process, how it's starting to show up in my reality. So putting those pieces together, this is not only does it feel better to not be drowning in worry and anxiety, it feels better to find a different way of looking at the challenges that are in front of us. it also, as we start really looking, we can see that when we make that shift, when we what if up instead of what if downing, when we make that shift, that things begin to shift in our lives and in the lives of the people around us. So that's the invitation. Join us for the new year. If you are interested in getting connected with a What If Up local group, we are starting our group leader or circle leader trainings are happening once a month now. So if you're interested in that, just put I want to lead a circle or put circle leader in the comments, and I will send you some information about how you can get trained to lead a What If Up circle in your local community. Or if you're someone that has a passion for bringing this to the mainstream, maybe you want to bring it to the schools, or you want to bring it to your office, or you want to bring it to your retreats. We have a certification program that's available now too, and we would love to talk to you about that. So you can put certification in the comments, and I'll follow up with you and give you some information about how that works. So we are looking for ambassadors of possibility. What if every person who sees this takes that energy of what if into your day, into your culture, into your connections and your relationships in a way where you're sending ripples of possibility and hope into the world? That is the invitation. Every week I have a challenge for you. And last week's challenge, when we had our special guest, Robin Hackett, last week was our Bold Moves challenge. And I want to congratulate Janet Redford, who took on the challenge. And she was the winner of last week's challenge. She's going to win. Oh, where do I have? Here's what she wins. Are you ready? I'm going to grab it. She wins. Bum, bum, bum. Here's what she wins. She wins The Creative You, The Journey to Setting Her Free by Robin Hackett. Fabulous inspirational book for creatives. If you know someone who has a dream and they have that voice in their head that says, you can't make money doing that, read Robin's story. You will absolutely love it. She's also going to get a What If Upper journal. So that is the prize for this past week's challenge. Here's the challenge for this week. Are you ready? The challenge for this week is to share the power of what if, and to go in. Here's how this works. Go into our What If Up community and post something that is a desire. Share at least 3 what ifs related to that desire. So that's the challenge, is just go into our community and practice it. And as you're in there, you'll probably see other people that have posted their desires as well, and to go share some what ifs for them as well. What I found is that it's a great process to practice for yourself in your own mind. And sometimes it's a whole lot easier to practice what if upping with other people's desires, because we have no sense of limitation or lack when it comes to what we see as possible for other people. Sometimes it's a lot easier to what if up for others. So that is the challenge, is to come into our community and practice the power of what if and notice what happens. So what if this is something that you step into this week? What if you feel the power of what if showing up in your life? What if using it takes you down this portal of possibility into places where you could only imagine? What if it leads you into a journey that is full of love and happiness and joy and all the things that you want for yourself and for the planet? What if you step into it in a way that creates tangible, positive change that you can feel and see and experience and point to this very week? And what if this is the beginning? This is one step on a journey that leads you to greater and greater good. Thank you for being here to experience the power of what if. Thank you for joining our community, being part of our family here as we work together collaboratively to co-create positive change in the world, to spread hope, to build connection as a community, as a movement. We are so delighted to have you here. And thank you for jumping in on this What If Wednesday. I look forward to seeing you next week. Same time, same place. See you there. Bye-bye.